Okay. Ready?
No, let's give it 10. Oh, yes.
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 Yes. Let's go. Hello. Hello. How are you? Welcome. I have a bunch of questions for you. We have a bunch of questions for you.
Yeah.
And
what's in my pocket?
And we're going to be asking you a bunch of questions, and we're going to be showing you the different tools that we're going to be using in order to get information from you and share information with each other and all of that stuff.
We did some of this on Friday for some of you who were able to come last Friday, but you didn't need to be there. It was fun.
There was no teaching.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah. So there'll be some of you who learned some of the Zoom strategies that we've got. You'll get to entrench them today as we use them again and again.
So welcome. Hi. If you're just joining us, we're going to be doing our chats and a way of kind of giving live feed information to us and each other using CourseLink, the CourseLink widget. And the instructions are on the screen right now about how to access that. We will not be using the Zoom chat, at least for right now, for a whole bunch of reasons. But the most important reason is because if we do it within CourseLink, then you've got a record of that chat for each of the classes. So that way you can go back, you can take a look at it. If there's a link that we've put in there or some information or the answer to a question, you're more than welcome to use it as a record for after class as well.
I see a lot of you in there, and
that's fabulous.
There's jokes.
There's jokes already?
Yep.
Are they funny? Don't be judgy.
What do you call a hen staring at a head of lettuce?
What do you call a hen?
Well, somebody suggested hen looking at lettuce.
That's very good. That's very good. I want to know.
Chicken Caesar salad.
Ooh.
That's actually good.
That's funny. Okay, so you found the chat. Wonderful. Welcome to the chat. And that's where we'll be. We'll create a new chat for each class so that you can, break it up that way. And I think that's all we had to say, except for we are recording these, and we do our very best to keep your video feed out of the screen where we're recording. But then sometimes, of course, when you're going from screen to screen, it might capture. So there's a chance. We're not going to be like just narrowing in on your video feed and recording it.
Enhance.
Checking out the posters on your wall or whatever. But there is a chance that your face may appear in the videos. Yeah, fix your hair. Okay, cool. So
previously on Biology 1070, nothing.
Nothing. This is our very first class. We're absolutely delighted that you're with us, and we want to get to know a little bit about you and where you are in the world. But first, we're going to show you this slide. Now, this slide is a slide that will frequently come up with the learning outcomes for the day's class. Today, obviously, we're not going to have too many learning outcomes, but I want you to get used to seeing it as kind of front and center. Think about it as like a checklist for your learning. Based on that specific class's content. So you can kind of, as you're going back and studying or revising the material, you can go, oh, okay, do I know this? Can I do this? What are the parts of the class that, we're speaking directly to this particular learning outcome, that kind of deal. So you can use it as a way of kind of structuring your studying and things like that. But today it's more of an agenda. And then next class on Wednesday, we'll get started with the specific learning outcomes. But way more important, where are you in the world? So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to use the annotate tool. What you're going to do, if you don't mind, is go to view options. That should be at the top of your screen. If it isn't at the top of your screen, oh yeah, it seems to be, because somebody's figured it out already. Whoa!
Is somebody in tomorrow?
Seriously? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're piling up. We're piling up around the GTA. Somebody's drawing a big circle in Equatorial Africa. Very good. We've got some people talking about being in Southern Australia. We've got some people in Europe. We have some people in the middle of the ocean, which is great.
That's awesome.
Somebody's in Greenland. I have been many times to Greenland, and it is beautiful. Okay, so we seem to be really, really tight in North America. Okay, so some people in Antarctica. I've also spent lots of time in Antarctica, like years worth of time.
Like
not in that area.
A penguin's worth of time.
If you're seriously in Antarctica, that's amazing. Okay, so let's clear this. And we are going to zoom in a little bit. We'll ask you to clear all of your drawings, and I'm going to stop annotating, and we're going to go a little bit in further detail. So if you find yourself in this map, if you could indicate your location, that would be great. Wonderful. We're piling up.
Yeah.
Good. Yay. Super good.
Cool.
If you're in the Caribbean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I hope you're safe. Super. Newfoundland. That's like one of our favorite Canadian places. Some BC OGs. Are you up early? Aye. Oh, okay. Let's zoom in a little bit more. And if you find yourself, I will. You're going to clear? Oh, he's got the eraser. Okay, so we're going to zoom in a little bit more. So if you find yourself in Ontario or Quebec, please go ahead. There. Sweet. This is super fun. Yeah. Quebec City. Wonderful. Et bienvenue, Montreal.
My favorite.
Look at this. This is awesome. Some Albany. Providence. That's cool. Wonderful. You know what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out how many Guelph campuses we now have. Moosonee, welcome. This is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this information.
Awesome.
What I get and what we get from this is that you are all over, and we are absolutely delighted that you're taking the time to join us, to learn with us, and to share with your peers. Hopefully we'll be able to learn from each other. So thank you so much. And we're going to
Everybody's making connections on.
Yay, people are talking. Who else is in Ottawa?
Yeah.
Super. Okay, so if you're interested in meeting some of your peers more formally, we are happy to support that. We can set up discussion boards. We can figure out, what type of discussion threads would be good. Maybe we could do it regionally, but you can certainly reach out to each other through the discussion board. And so we'll set up some sort of more relevant topics and threads for this semester, given that we're all doing remote learning. Thank you. Wonderful. So cool. Okay. Now, moving on. Oh, there's another one. Go. I forgot about this one. Closer. So if you're in the GTA, where are you? Oh, we do have some Guelph people.
Yeah. Quite a few.
Quite a few.
Fort Rowan.
Yay.
Hooray. How many people are in the World Heritage Biosphere Preserve right now?
Right now? Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Image for me.
Look at this. This is great. Cool. Okay, so spread out in the GTA. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you so much. So we are in Guelph, as it says on the top of the slide there. We live in the Exhibition Park area, and we've been enjoying the summer and the park and all of the outdoor spaces and the rivers and all of that stuff for the entire summer. It's been a summer though, right? Like, yeah. So we hope that you are all safe and that your families are all healthy. And that you're ready for learning and for joining us for the rest of the semester.
Welcome to March 193.
There we go. Now, okay, so let's do some biology. Take a look at this particular map. And what you can see is that it's colored based on the levels of biodiversity. So the colors on the far left are going to be sort of lower metrics of biodiversity all the way up to the intense red. and put a stamp on the color that corresponds to the area that you are. I love that somebody's in the hot red zone.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yep, the blue-green zone is definitely where Guelph is.
I like it.
Yep. Super good. Whoever's in the hot red zone, we're going to have to get you to take us outside and give us a bit of a video tour of where you are. Please. Wonderful. Okay. So most of us are in the blue and the green zone, which are more temperate areas. They have seasons. They have a lot more variability in the abiotic conditions and those types of things. And we'll talk a little bit about why these patterns of biodiversity exist.
They're amazing. Biodiversity patterns across big gradients. We'll talk about abiotic gradients, biotic gradients. It's going to be snazzy.
And one of the most important things is, as a kickoff, to be able to start to recognize what's around you, to get you to be curious about why it is the way that it is, and how it's different in other places. So most of us are in a region that's characterized by relatively low biodiversity, but that certainly doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of species. Okay. I think we're going to stop annotating for a little while, if you wouldn't mind. That would be great. And we've got a Zoom polling question for you. So we want you, I'm going to turn off the annotation. There we go. Okay. I have a Zoom polling question for you. So you can, if you're inside, you can go and take a look out a window. If you're close to a door, you can step outside for a minute. And what we want you to do is to tell us how many species you see right now. And I'll start the Zoom poll, and then you can answer it. So take a couple of minutes, go and count the species, and come back to us. And if you're sitting inside and you want to stay inside, count the number of species that you've got in the room. Okay, Dr. Smith is going to go count.
In the room?
There we go. In the room. Oh.
Man. Okay, well, then most of them are on the floor.
Most of them are on the floor. There he goes. He's counting. Yeah.
3.
You got 3?
3.
Well done. That's kind of gross, too.
Gross is not a word in a biodiverse vocabulary.
Cool. We've got half of you that have come into the poll.
Myself a rug burn.
Oh.
I can't clear
Mm. Okay. And the vast majority of you have clicked in. Oh, just a couple more, actually. And then we've got 100%. That's amazing. Okay. And polling. And I'm going to share the results with you right now. So you should have the results popping up on your screen. And here they are. So most of you are saying that you see 2 to 5. Some of you see more than 15. And some of you see 0. That's we're gonna get you to be a little more creative on that one.
Get them here.
Just look at yourself. You're 1. Okay, and then some of you see 1. So you're sitting in a room alone, and hopefully you're not feeling lonely. So there we go. Stop sharing the results, and we're gonna move on. So thank you for that. Okay, so welcome to Discovering Biodiversity. The whole course I tried to capture in 3 questions, but actually it's kind of 4 questions. I think we tried to narrow it down to be kind of short and sweet, but then we were like, oh no, we need to have that 4th question in there as well. So what we're going to be talking about this semester is biodiversity. It's a big umbrella topic. We're going to talk about how it happens, how we can study it, and probably most importantly, why it matters. It matters for so many reasons, and we're really going to try to tap into that.
And sometimes it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It can't be the cat, like if it was a catch-all of all alls, then this would be a theology course. But it's a yeah. One of the things that I often talk about I'm excited about biodiversity because I can measure it while lying on my ground and on the ground on my chest in the forest or in the tundra or on a river holding my breath. I can measure it with satellites. I can measure it with DNA. It's amazing.
And it matters not just from a biology perspective. It matters to our culture, to our society. It matters when we talk about the history of this land, the fact that it was not ours to begin with, that it was part of the Ottawadan people and the Mississauga of the Credit,
where we're sitting anyway.
Where we're sitting right now.
Quick map for next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it mattered at the time when the Dish with One Spoon covenant was coming into place. It matters for all of these reasons. It matters today as we divide up our lands, divide up our homes in isolation and COVID. All of these things matter. And in fact, biodiversity was a topic that came up in April and May as people realized that by not going to work and by not traveling, the land and the oceans were changing, and we're responding to the fact that there was less human distribution and presence in those environments.
Not true wherever you're sitting. It's certainly true where we're sitting. It's true, as Dr. Jacob said, in the oceans. They're quieter. There's less student diversity on campus right now, but there's greater diversity of other mammals as the campus, your physical University of Guelph campus, is quieter. There's more higher level predators there than would normally be there.
Yep.
We're talking coyotes, not like black bears, right?
Giant sloth. No, so things are changing, and biodiversity, comes along with it, comes along with all of the social changes that are happening as well. Jellyfish in Venice. There you go. Yep. Thank you.
Didn't Spirit of the West do a song about that?
So, we should probably introduce ourselves. And one of the big things that unfortunately we have to reveal that we haven't had to when we do face-to-face teaching is the fact that your teaching team has 2 bubbles, not 3 bubbles. And the reason is because these 2 of your instructors are married. So we are a family. He's pretty happy about it. Yeah. And we're married, and we live in the same house.
Where are the kids?
Where are the kids? So
major teaching fail.
Yeah. You will probably meet our children at some point because they are very young. And so it's been a summer, and we're delighted to welcome you into our home. And Dr. Robertson, are you out there, Dr. Robertson?
Boop, boop,
into the vast world? I bet you that unfortunately Dr. Robertson is probably muted and we can't unmute to say hello. Ah, no. Okay, we will see if we can find Dr. Robertson in this long list of people. And if we can, then we will see if we can unmute her to say hello. But Dr. Robertson is, you will be meeting Dr. Robertson in the seminars. She's going to be popping in to say hello. You'll see her after class during our student hours, sometimes, not all the time, if you have any questions to ask her directly. And she is also the one that checks daily the course email address, that if you can't find an answer to something, that's kind of your last way of getting some help. You can send an email. Oh, you found Dr. Robertson.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Robertson.
Hello.
Hi. Do you want to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to 1070. I'm going to pop into the seminars, like Dr. Jacob said this week, just to say a quick hello to you all at the beginning, but I probably won't stick around. If you've got any questions whatsoever, make sure you reach out. I take care of all of the accommodations for the course, so if you need any sort of accommodations, you can email me at the course email. If you've got seminar-related questions, email me as well about that. Basically, anything that's not really lecture-related, fire me an email and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Dr. Robertson. Cool. Okay, so that's us. The most important information about this slide is the student hours down at the bottom. Those are your extra hours for asking questions. What we're going to do is we're going to stick around after class on Zoom right here. And if you want to stick around and ask some questions, then you're more than welcome to do that. You can also stick around just to listen to the questions that other people have. If at any point you want to speak to one of us privately, we can bring you into a little breakout room or figure it out in some way. So we'll see how many of you want to stick around, and then we'll start to kind of manage how we answer the questions that you might have.
Somebody says that they used to bring us eggs at Vienna's all the time.
Those are the best eggs.
And that has made me super hungry.
Yeah. Wonderful. So nice to see you. Cool. Okay. So 1070, 3 topics. They're kind of the big umbrella topics of biology and certainly of our Department of Integrative Biology. We want to explore biodiversity from these 3 perspectives because they happen at different scales, at different time scales, as well as at different levels of biological organization. So they happen at the cellular level, at the nuclear level, all the way up to the population level, or even more, the community level and the biome level. So by exploring these topics through a lens of biodiversity, we're able to really understand evolution, ecology, physiology, what matters, what drives it, and how things change.
Yes. Smith is in the chat room.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Smith is busy.
Yeah. He can do that many things.
Yeah. So wonderful. So here's what we've got as our kind of setup to go through it.
Yeah.
Do you want
to? I'll throw in, as I stop typing over here, that I love this conceptualization of diversity. And you're kind of, everybody who's, you could be sitting in a room beside someone else who's physically or literally right now in a lecture at another institution in a different first-year biology course. That maybe your siblings are there. And one of the things I like about the course that we've designed here is that it takes a look at diversity at these 3 different scales, at these 3 different levels. These are kind of traditionally taught into second year in the university undergraduate career as different streams that you need to specialize in. But of course they're intermixed, they're layered like an onion. And like an onion, sometimes you cry, but like an onion, it's often delicious by the end. So welcome to Guelph's Biodiverse Onion.
Well said. I like it. Cool. So the course is structured. There's structure, and there's a lot of structure. We have lots of different elements and different ways that you can engage with it. The majority of things are sort of asynchronous. There's a lot that's available for you online through CourseLink. And then there are some synchronous things. And the idea is that the synchronous things are about doing things together, learning together, sharing information, and interacting with us and with your TA or with Dr. Robertson. So the synchronous classes, like what we have right now, these are recorded, but the other synchronous activities will not be recorded. So we do ask that you do your very best to plan your schedule so that you can attend. If something comes up, if anything comes up in this course, it is so much appreciated if you can kind of foresee it coming up to let us know, and we'll figure out how we can make things work for you, okay? If something's come up last minute and it's like an after the fact, still get in touch as soon as you possibly can, because the sooner the better in terms of being able to make sure that you're cared for. Okay.
I think this is a perspective that hopefully you're receiving in all of your classes. Is that this is a, we'll see if I'm going to swear. So we'll see if this is shitty time for everybody, right? On one level or another, it's different and it's stretched all over the place. So our pedagogy is one for kindness, and we are looking to we don't need to know the literal definition of the things that are happening, but we're a priori, before the fact. We're assuming that things are stretched. So that's where we're leaning from.
Yep. Okay, now, have you declared a major?
I declare!
Hold on one
Not
second.
in your room. Like,
if you declared a major,
oh.
why don't you annotate the slide and we'll let everybody know. There we go. Other, somebody circling other. There we go. Biodiversity, ecology, biological sciences, zoology. Everybody's there. What's up? See, people know what a major is.
I'm going to select that one.
Wonderful. There we go.
I like this. Biodiversity majors, ecology majors,
Yeah.
wildlife, biology and conservation, other,
okay, international development, welcome, and why are you here?
No, you're here.
Welcome.
Amazing.
So good. Animal bio, nanoscience, environmental management, super. Human kinetics, welcome. Okay, so lots and lots of other majors, but of course, our within IB or integrative biology, we have 5 majors that we are responsible for. So that's fabulous. Plant science, welcome. What's a major? Good. Don't decide yet. Keep your eyes and ears and mind and brain open, and hopefully we'll bring you onto the dark side of biodiversity.
Can I give my thought about what a major is?
Okay,
in
quickly.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a way for you to leverage yourself into the courses you need to be. So it's not a permanent lifetime decision. It's not till death do you part.
No.
It's
What was your major in undergrad?
I don't even know.
No.
No.
No one's asked. But keep yourself interested, engaged, and that's the most important thing. Okay, cool. Thank you for all of that information. I am going to clear, and we're going to move on. I can't clear. I will clear.
Oh yes, I know.
Clear all drawings. There we go. So we are a huge team. We have lots and lots of teaching assistants. In fact, we have more than we usually do because of COVID, because of 2020. And we're actually pretty excited how well supported we are for the number of TAs. And of course, the number of instructors, the 3 of us bringing you through this process. You're going to meet them in your seminar sessions, which start this week. So make sure that that you participate, and they'll guide you through all of the seminars and the assignments.
And that's, of course, that photograph is, of course, not happening right now.
No, that was taken last semester.
What your TAs look like when they're allowed to be in the same place. What they look like right now is whatever you look like, whatever we look like. So I mean, they also may not be wearing pants. Who knows?
So stay connected, and one of the ways that we like to stay connected, and one of the ways that science likes to stay connected is on Twitter. So here's a whole bunch of Twitter hashtags related to this course, related to biology, related to us, that you're more than welcome to join and follow. We do post about 1070. We don't post anything important, so it's not the only way that you can stay connected to 1070, but we do post stuff using the hashtag BIOL1070.
And one of the cool things about Twitter, of course, is that you don't need to sign in to do it. You don't need an account. You go and look for stuff.
If you want to open up an account and start curating a following, then the best time to make a big announcement about something you've done, like graduation or published a paper, or we're featured in an article, is about 5 years before. So if you're interested in a career in biology, a career in science, and social media is something that's interesting to you, then open up a Twitter account if you don't already have one.
And if you're a TikTok star, you can export your videos to there as well.
Cool. So
all the ticking and the talking.
Yes. So we've already mentioned biological scales and hierarchies. We've talked about it in the context of evolution, ecology, and physiology, and we're going to talk a lot about it. In fact, if there's sort of one theme to this course, it's the idea that you can move along these hierarchies and these scales back and forth, right? From the very tiny, tiny scale to the very, very large kind of global scale. You can look at trends in the way that biology moves in response to the scale at which we're looking. You can also think about things in terms of time scales. There are some things that don't happen quickly, and other things that really do. And so it all depends on kind of where you are within the system to be able to understand what time scales as well as sort of geographic scales are relevant to the things that we're talking about. And so it's a theme that comes up quite a lot, and we're going to start by thinking about scales a little more specifically.
There's a question, that's a good one, if I can interrupt, about what to call us.
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. That's really good. So my name is Shoshana Jacobs. I prefer pronouns they and them.
I'm Alex Smith. I'm he, him, his, because otherwise I don't respond.
Hey, you. And for the purposes of this course, as well as the purposes of our relationship and the relationship to Dr. Robertson, we refer to each other by doctor and then our last name. So thank you very much to whoever asked that. That's really appreciated. We do recognize that was not the way that most of you were doing it when you were talking to instructors or teachers a little while ago. And so if there is a slip up, please don't worry about it. But you may want to start, practicing and training your brain to refer to your instructors as Dr. whomever. Because there may be some people that will respond less kindly to any kind of slip-ups. So there you go.
Yeah, and if you say Your Majesty, we won't respond.
Yeah.
So, but as a general rule of thumb, there's a whole bunch of there's titles, and so you use them. And so when you're talking to other profs as well, start formal, and then if you start, then you can ask.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You can say, what would you prefer?
Yep.
And if they say Your Majesty, you can be like, really?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, it's always best to start more formally, and I start more formally if I'm writing to a professor who I've never met before. I don't say hey Lisa. I start formally.
Somebody suggested, my chem teacher told us to call him Rick. If that's his name, that's totally fine. If it's not, it's kind of weird. But again, different people will have different things. Different people have gone through different societal pressures to get to the place that they are, and I think it's important to recognize that. So
cool, good. Okay,
I got out of that without singing Paul Simon.
Nice. Go to www.menti.com. We're going to show you another little tool right now. I have to give you the code. So the code is going to appear down in the closed captioning. So when you go to www.menti.com, you're going to type in the code 3361236. And I'll repeat that again. That's 3361236.
In terms of, as you're doing this, there's some other people in the chat who are in physics with the great Orbaks.
Oh, yay!
So that's why it's important. Another reason why it's important to ask, because you're understanding what people will, or a priori expectation of what people will want to be called is sometimes not big enough.
And the great Orbaks is definitely great. Yeah.
I wish I had.
Yeah. Orbax is a colleague of ours. We're working together on a project, and wow, so good.
True legend, as someone has said.
There we go. Wonderful. Okay, so right now what's happening is you're putting in all sorts of words, and we're generating a bit of a word cloud. So I want to share it with you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it over, and you can see it starts to populate, because actually I'll wait a little bit longer just to make sure that there's a lot of you that have answered, and they're all fabulous. I love the one that says I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
What just changed the good.
Yeah. Okay. Right now?
Well, whenever. Phylogenetics.
Nice.
All the branching and the trees and the phylogeny.
Okay, super good. So let me share with you a little bit. I'm going to have to do this and I'm going to have to,
it's here.
Is it?
Yep, I don't know why.
Why? Okay, there we go. So here it is. So you can see this word cloud that's being generated by your answers. Thank you so much. And you can see down in the bottom that 325 of you have already submitted your answers, and we'll let that grow so that we get as many of the answers as possible that are captured. So biological levels of organization are kind of a specific term that refer to a specific hierarchy, a specific relationship in biology. Some of you have captured it. I see cells, for example. I also see taxonomic levels of organization that are coming into this.
Class, order, family,
that's right, yeah. And that's not exactly what we're meaning, but again, what you're doing is you're signaling that there's a hierarchy, that there are these scales that exist, and that's the most important thing. We want to kind of get your brain to think about things in terms of like a scale or a hierarchy. So I see ecosystems, which is part of the biological levels of organization. Yeah, I see organelles and tissues and organs. All of those things are molecular stuff, absolutely part of these things. I see food webs, and food webs could certainly speak to a level of organization that we call community, and so that's wonderful too. So well done. All of these things are important and definitely play a role when we think about biological levels of organization. So we can screen capture that and post it if you want to take a look later. Okay, biology, biodiversity, and specifically this course. It's complicated, is how we like to say it. Would that it were so simple. And all of the, the experts related to education have pretty much the same thing to say. And that is that if you're in a state of learning, if you're learning about something, you're going to be uncomfortable, you're going to feel vulnerable. It's a high risk activity that certainly can be related to our egos, our self-worth, and all of these things, and our mental health. We're not here to make it easy and comfortable, because if it's comfortable, it's probably that you're just remembering something that you've already learned, right? Yeah. We are here, though, to guide you and support you through these periods of discomfort. And it will kind of, go up and then go down, and then go up and then go down. And we're here to kind of help you get out of some of those valleys and some of those pits, okay?
And also to put you in them.
Yes, and to show you how we get out of them.
Yep.
And so just keep that in mind as we go through this course.
And also realize that as things scale, we talked about biological scaling, but experiential scale, things like that scale as well. If I'm undertaking a new supervisor, if a student has a new project in in physiology, which isn't kind of my native part of biology, I'm often uncomfortable because I'm learning new things. And I'm like, oh man, is this a stupid question? It's like, maybe, but it needs to be asked.
Yep.
That's how you get up.
Yep. Cool. The good news is that science, similarly, like Dr. Smith was just saying, follows that same type of pattern. So science isn't a collection of facts. All of those facts are freely available on the internet. And that's why we don't have a textbook, by the way, because honestly, just repackaging a bunch of facts, I think, is kind of a ripoff. So all of these facts, everything that we know about science, is more or less freely available on the internet, or you can access it through your Guelph library membership. So it's really a process, and it's a way of thinking, it's a way of doing things. And so it's also, into the unknown for us as scientists, as biologists. It's uncomfortable, it's stressful. And so we want you to kind of learn to be able to succeed within that environment of uncertainty.
An environment of uncertainty that can extend in abiotic conditions to Dr. Jacobs beside a large predator there on an ice shelf, and Dr. Smith kneeling and unaware of the viper that's just off the screen to the left-hand side.
Yeah, we have to think about scales.
Yeah.
Look around you.
Like literal scales, like scaly.
Yeah. Similarly, if we're talking about scales, we're talking about hierarchies. There are sort of hierarchies of learning and of thinking, right? So we can organize the depth of thinking into a kind of a pyramid where at the bottom we can remember things, then we can understand, we can apply, analyze, evaluate, create. And all of those bring you sort of deeper and deeper into critical thinking. We've sort of arranged the course to be able to touch on most of these areas. But the idea is that we're not going to be repeating or overlapping, right? So the readings that we have, the course link material, the different parts that are online that we want you to read before coming to class and doing the quizzes, those just get you up to date on the vocabulary and the terms and the relationships and those kinds of things, like the basics, right? The facts. And then throughout your seminars are going to go back and forth, starting out with the facts and then getting you to eventually create something with what we're calling the EPP. We may change that, but we'll let you know. But that's the big project that's at the end that Dr. Robertson is going to be guiding you through. And then the classes, our goal is to be at the higher level of thinking, to get you to apply, to analyze, to evaluate. We'll be asking you questions. We'll hopefully be able to engage you in thinking critically about things. But we're not going to be repeating the facts from the readings, for example, right? So you're going to have to do all of that and then come to class, and we're going to kind of bump it up a level. And similarly, then the exams are going to be more closely related to the level of thinking that we're going to be doing in class.
Somebody asked about Bloom's taxonomy.
Bloom's, yes. Bloom's is not the only taxonomy, but it's a good one. And you're totally right. It is relevant in this conversation for sure. So we don't have time, unfortunately, to be able to do this in a breakout room because we have 4 more minutes. So what I'd like you to do is just take a look at this question here and see if you can come up with an answer for it. As you do that, I'm going to create a Menti answer. So just give me a minute. It's going to take you a minute to go through it. And then I'll open it up and you can put in your answer. So take a look at the question. We'll give you a minute.
Speak amongst yourselves, not online. Paste that screen grab somewhere in case you copy something else.
Oh, yeah.
He's asking about links for the lectures. Those are going to be, you'll see, we'll kind of work you through next time, but you'll see them on Course Link and they'll appear there as a, I said we're closed. You'll see the links there to the PDF and then also to the YouTube constricted link. Constricted being like where we blur out faces that might appear by accident, and also where we're obliged to trim our dancing to Susan Glukark at the start because that's a proprietary song. So it's for your enjoyment in class, not for us to repost.
Okay, so I've got, instead of a Menti, we did a quick Zoom poll here. So I've launched that one and you can go and put in your answers. Most of you have already. Wonderful. Okay. Just wait another couple of seconds. Super. Well done. I'll share the results with you right now. So rankings of marathon runners, first, second, and third is the correct answer. It does not belong. It's what's called a linear hierarchy, and the other ones that we've given you are called nested hierarchies. And they look very different if you were to go and draw these out, okay? It's too bad we didn't have enough time for the breakout room sessions, but we'll try another time so that you can meet each other. But that's very well done. If you got the answer wrong and you thought that the one that you clicked on was right, so if you were just guessing, then cool. The best way to figure out and to understand why the answer is B, is rankings of marathon runners, or number 2, is to draw it out and what it would actually look like. Basically, we have this linear thing where there's a first, second, third, but there's nothing sort of nested within the group. And then all of the other ones kind of look more like a pyramid, where as you go down the different levels, the number of individuals and units within increases, but also one level's sort of defining character is the existence of the ones below, right? So a tissue is a whole bunch of cells, right? An organ is a whole bunch of tissues. And so the definition is based on basically the collective of the level below. Okay, stop sharing results. Now, let's see where we're going. So here's your homework question. So we always like to end off with a little bit of a homework. Not every class, but many classes. We're going to give you some direction in what we think you might want to be doing with your study time. Where we're going, that kind of deal, things that we'd like you to become familiar with. So kind of along the lines of the hierarchies and thinking about hierarchies, our question for you that we'll ask at the beginning of next class is this one. We won't always give you the possibilities to choose from, but let's start slowly. So generally, the levels of organization are structured in this nested hierarchy where the definition of one unit is basically a whole bunch of subunits. But one of them is a little bit different. Which one of these doesn't follow the nested hierarchy pattern? So this will be posted with the recordings of the lectures and the slides, so you can go back and take a look at the question and prepare your answer for Wednesday. If you're confused, if you're lost, so are we. Yeah. It's the first day.
Remember, I went to the wrong Zoom lecture thing, so you got here.
You got here.
You before me, so
that's a win. That's a win. There are lots of resources that we have for you, including a course calendar where you can check things off week by week to make sure that you're staying on top of things. The most important thing is if you're noticing that you're not staying on top of things, reach out, get in touch. We can come up with a plan that works. Clearly if you have to get up at 4 in the morning in order to make class, that's something that we have to figure out. So please make sure that you kind of monitor your own learning progress and let us know. That's the one challenge with a large class, is that we can't write to you every time and go, hey, how's it going? You need to let us know how it's going for you, and we'll do our very best to make sure that it's equitable, it's inclusive, it's accessible to you as much as is possible.
Yes. How to see the course calendar? That's the syllabus. How to see the course outline. How do you answer this? These are questions from the chat. How are you going to answer? We'll let you know. It'll be like a Zoom poll or Menti or something, but just have looked at that question and know kind of where you think the answer is, and then we'll unpack where to deliver that answer to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to stick around because it's now student hours. If you have any questions, if you want to stick around, we can show you a little bit about the CourseLink site and tour you around a little bit. Whatever you want, it's your time. But we are going to end recording, and just with a quick, we'll leave the chat. Yeah. Okay. Just with a quick thank you, and we're very excited about the semester. If you have any questions, go to CourseLink or stick around after class.